Okay, we are in the number 11 of the hymn 140 of Dirghatama Uchatya. Idam Agne Sudhitam Durdhita Tadhi Priyad Uchit Manmanach Preyo Astute Yatteshu Kuram Tanuvo Rochate Chi Tena asmabhyam vanase ratnam atvam. This, O Agni, is that which is well established upon the ill-placed. Even out of this blissful mentality may there be born to thee the greater bliss. By that which shines bright and pure from thy body, thou winnest for us the delight. This idam, O Agni, Agne, Suddhitam, well established, Durdhita dadhi, upon the ill-established, literally. Priyad uchit, and from the blissful manmanach, word or mantra, preyo astute, may there be greater bliss. Yatte shukram, and that is what is bright of your body, tanruach, rocha teshuchi, is shining bright. Tena asmabhyam, by that for us, vanase ratnam, you win or conquer or enjoy the wealth, atvam. So, quite interesting, Shubindra does not distinguish here, even out of this blissful mentality, he translates. We can also translate it even from this blissful mantra, there should be more bliss for you. So a hymn generates the bliss, and Agni, picking up with that word, become even more blissful. Yeah? So this is something that is well established upon or above the ill-established, also can be interpreted. O Agni, even from your blissful thinking may a greater bliss be born, that which is shining out of your body, bright and pure, by that you win for us the wealth. So there is this flame or substance of Agni which conquers for us the wealth. The wealth is the Ratnam, usually the meaning of it is the transformed substance of our being on every level, on the physical, vital, and mental level. There is a substance which has to be transformed into the shining wealth. So the whole manifestation is to be Vasyam, as the Isha Upanishad would say. By the Lord all this is to shine. So everything is to be turned into the bliss and shining wealth. Sri Aurobindo says that Ratnam, Radhas, and other Rai words, they have the meaning of the delight and luminous delight, yes, which is emanating from the being transformed by the spiritual presence. So you conquer for us, you enjoy for us the wealth by that luminous part of your body or your extension, tanuach. Yes. Body and extension is the same word. What is body? Body is an extension of the being in time and space, yes? Yeah. What is well established upon ill established or ill placed? It's a question. So what do you think about ill-placed and well-established upon it? There must be some thoughts.
Could it be that which has no reality, the ill-placed?
Yeah, which is not yet fully, yes, realized in the divine sense, yes. Something which is on the way to be well established, yes. So ill established is, so there are grades of consciousness, yes, until we till we arrive at inconscient or even nascent. That nascent is where consciousness is totally absent. Yeah? And then we have inconscient where consciousness is involved. Then we have subconscious where consciousness is operating under the darkness, the veil of darkness. And then we come to the ignorance where knowledge and absence of knowledge are, or where the knowledge is operating within time and space only as a partial knowledge in the partial context. And then we drive upward where it is well established, and we arrive at overmental realms and finally supramental realms where everything is perfectly established. So the establishment takes place on the levels, and so the whole gradation of levels of consciousness is expressed in this simple phrase. Yes, somebody else is saying.
Could it be impurities of the vital and the body and the mind that need to be transformed into the luminous light?
Yeah, well, the impurities absolutely depend on these levels, yes, where these impurities are kind of, they've found their place, the proper location. Impurity is what is impurity? Mixture with the inconscient, yeah, with the nescient, the absence of consciousness. That is impurity. That means partial awareness. The gradation of partial awareness is actually that what we call impurity. You're thinking in terms of purity from the course of purification or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, purification is actually rising in consciousness or even transforming the levels of consciousness by the presence, spiritual presence.
Mhm.
There is no other purification, only bringing more light of consciousness into everything we are. And the most purifying thing, as Gita says, is knowledge. Knowledge is the most pavitram, yes, which is the most purifying. And also sacrifice. It's interesting. In the Brahmanas, it is Vayu Pavamana, is the yajna. Vayu, which is connecting heaven and earth, where the interaction of the spiritual values or powers with the substance powers is interacting, where the spirit is transforming the material substance or the substance of what we call impurities. That process is called purification, Vayu Pavamana, which is the sacrifice, transformation. So the process of transformation is process of purification. All right, we will go then to the next. Rathaya navam utano grihaya nitya ritram Padvatim rasi Agne, asmakam viran utano maghono, janancha ya parayat sharma yacha. Thou givest us, O Agni, for chariot and for home a ship, traveling with eternal progress of motion that shall carry our strong spirits and our spirits of fullness across the births and across the peace. Sri Aurobindo most probably suggests something by this double translation, across the births and across the peace. It can be translated a bit differently, but he somehow wants this meaning. Let us go word by word. Rathaya, for Ratha, for the chariot. Ratha is something which is carrying us over the places where we are not supposed to stay. It's like we are on the way from one destination to the other. So we have to cross some distance, and so we cannot stay there, we should move forward. So for the Ratha, for that movement forward, even for the progress, we can say, Navam Uta, and Nava is the boat which is crossing over the waters. Waters is something where we cannot stay. We have to cross them and move from one shore to another shore. So for moving forward the boat, as it were, for us, Grihaya, towards our home, Nityaritram, I most probably put here, Nityaritra is having its own oars, that's moving by itself, as it were. So this boat is actually constantly progressing, moving by itself. Padvati is the one who has pad, who has the pedals, or who has the feet, as it were. So with the boat which has the pedals and the moving by itself and the oars, so to say, it has a double engine, as it were. We can move in double ways with it, with hands and feet. With hands we move the oars, and with feet we roll the pedals. Rasi, you give, O Agni, Asmakam, our Viran, our heroic forces, or our heroes, Uta, no Maghonach, and our Maghonach, our fullnesses, Shabindra says, or let me read mine, because I'm kind of carried by the words. You grant us a vessel, Navam Rasi, moving constantly by itself for our progress, Rathaya, towards our home, Grihaya, that which could carry our heroes and our realized beings, Maghona Janan. I am translating it together, Maghono Janan. And realized beings to the other shore of bliss, Parayat Sharma Yacha. So I'm simplifying translation. Sri Aurobindo wants us to see this across the birth and across the peace. Janan cha ya parayat sharma yacha. So who carries us over the waters to another shore, over the Janan, over the, here he translates Jana, which is people, as births, from root Jan, to be born, gives it a new meaning. which is very possible because jana is actually from jan, to generate, to be born. So over the incarnations, let us say, and over the peace. What do you think what it could mean? Over generations and the peace. He carries us forward.
Vladimir, could it also be that he has given us this instrument, this body, and hands and feet, the different levels of consciousness as we aspire, we go on and on to a more blissful state from life to life?
Yeah, well, that is what, yes, what it means. But what about peace and births? Why these two? The two, they define something kind of important for us. Yes, why the two? They are not the same. The births and the peace are quite opposite. Yeah, births are not peace at all. It's quite a turmoil to be born and to live in time and space, and across the peace. Why across the peace and across the births? Sri Aurobindo wants to say something to us, I think.
Vladimir, I was wondering, I mean, to add to what Gita Shri said, the image of the body definitely is an instrument, but the fire inside, like for example, the digestive fire, the different types of fire, even the mental aspiration, where something dies to give birth to another within. So it becomes more purer and purer as it keeps ascending. And and that internal peace also comes from that kind of digestion or conversion or transformation, internal transformation.
But again, parayat, sharmayacha, carrying over the peace and over the births.
Could he mean immortality towards immortality?
Yeah, and yes, well, yeah, it's interpretation towards it. Yeah, we are all moving towards immortality according to the Veda, and he is the vehicle towards it. But why across the peace? Pressing my point. Not towards the peace, but across the peace and across the births.
Maybe it's generational transfer of knowledge that can only happen during peace times in history, something like that.
Oh, interesting thought. Didn't expect this. Yeah, this is Sri Aurobindo's view. Yes, that all the changes which take place are taking place in the peaceful times. So there is a battle, and then there is a peace and accumulation of knowledge and change and transformations taking in that place, in that time, and then again we have a turmoil, and again peace as adaptation and change and transformation. Interesting thought. Thank you for sharing. Some other thoughts? No? Why across the peace? Any thought is good, so please share. Don't worry. They are all right, but sometimes unexpected, like this, what Anna did. Would not think of it.
Vladimir, what about chapter 13, the Kshetra and Kshetrajna in Gita? The field and the knower of the field. Going beyond the duality.
But across the peace. Yeah, it's not going towards the peace, but crossing the peace. This is the thing which is puzzling, yeah, here in this. If it would be towards the peace, that would be easy, but this is across the peace, and it's not easy to understand. Sri Aurobindo wants to put something into it. of fullness across the birth and across the peace.
Can I say something, Larini?
Yes, please.
I don't know. I think the answer lies in your interpretation. Excuse me. Where you say, carry our heroes and our realized beings to the other shore of bliss. So, across the peace would be beyond the blissful state.
To all the short bliss. Oh, you found that the answer. Okay. I didn't see it, yes. I was simplifying the translation, didn't think of it, but yeah, you kind of, linguistically, you put it. Okay. Yes. I think, yes, I think something else. I think that the peace is also to be crossed, really, truly. And the peace and the turmoil, both, have to be left behind, as it were. They are, it's like vidya and avidya, yeah, or like sambhuti and asambhuti. Both of them are the instrumental for our journey forward. And all the answers what you gave are actually kind of part of this bigger answer, where this alternation between the effort and relaxation, breathing in and breathing out, with this turmoil of birth, sambhuti, and peace, asambhuti. Yeah? So to say, finding the constantly looking for the thing beyond, this is peace, and accommodating the spirit within our being, peace, is also the means of our traveling towards the divine. So this is much more complex vision. Yeah, that's why Sri Aurobindo most probably left it in this form for us as a puzzle to think. And it is there in the Vedic verse, which is totally other translations do not see it at all. Yeah? They don't see janas as the being born in the human body. Yeah? So carrying across the births in the body, janancha ya parayat, sharmayachat, and beyond the Sharman, it's interesting, Sri Aurobindo translates it in different places differently, as peace or blissful peace or peace of delight. Sharman is actually protection, something which gives you a shelter even. Shri, from here, Sharira, Sharanam, these words, yeah. Shri Aurobindo Sharanam Mama. Sharanam is the refuge, protection. Sharira is that which is holding us, from root Shri, yes? And Sharman also is that something where we are safe, and when we are safe, we have peace. I am not struggling with anything. Yeah, it's this type of peace. Like at home, I am at peace because all things are mine. I know them. I have the relations with them. I don't need to struggle with them. I don't have enemies at home. I have only friends. So that protection, peace. So crossing that also, that state of accumulation of the spiritual presence within our kind of, in this transformative process, itself is the path towards the divine. So we will have to cross it also. Cross vidya and avidya, as it were, sambhuti and asambhuti. These are the means of our moving forward. That's why crossing with them, or crossing them even. By them we cross. When they appear, they have become our steps on the way to progress forward, to move forward. These are the steps of our progress. It's amazing if you think of it. Yeah? What is being put into the text.
I have a question, Vladimir.
Yes.
Is there a state where one can really go beyond the peace? I mean, in the body.
The peace becomes the steps on the way towards the divine. Yes. I'm formulating it cleverly that to avoid that sharp angle.
It's a realization and an experience. But how does one go beyond that?
Crossing the peace. Crossing the peace means peace is like the means by the field in which we realize peace, and that is becoming our means of moving forward. You can imagine the field, and in this field we need to make steps, so breathing in and out, let us say. So you will have an active and movement of an adaptation of movement. You will have to do both, so to say. And peace is one of them.
So going beyond would mean like, if we translate active and passive as Ida and Pingala, breathing in, breathing out, then to be in the state of equanimity.
Right. We know peace because we know the turmoil and trouble. That's why we call it peace, like we call it immortality because we know what mortality is. So we are always operating by these two. And you are right, there must be some state where peace is not defined as peace, in comparison to the turmoil, because there is no more neither turmoil nor peace.
No
There is
peace.
divine.
Yeah.
So could it also mean crossing the nirvanic state?
Why not? Could be.
Experiencing that, realizing that, and
In
still
a way, very good. Yeah, it could be exactly that when we go beyond nirvana, beyond asat, nirguna Brahman, then we realize the divine. Yes, the divine is beyond the nirguna Brahman and saguna Brahman.
Yeah.
Here we have the same saguna and nirguna, sat and asat, janan and sharma.
Yeah.
Or sambhuti and asambhuti of the Isha. So there is these both are there, and they have to be. They are our ways of moving forward. The constant becoming is dependent on them both. Yes, we cannot have only being. We have to have non-being to move forward. We need a state of adaptation.
Vladimir, now I have a question. Does that word in the previous one, blissful mentality, going beyond this blissful mentality? As long as that mind is there, like we are still talking about peace.
Yeah, you're right. I see what you mean, Deepti.
So what do you mean? Can you say again?
Jayashri has helped me out. The previous one, where we talked about this, so Agni is that which is best. Yeah.
Yes, interestingly, yes. Priyad Manmanach, from the blissful mantra, yes, you let it be more bliss for you, O Agni, yes. It's kind of comparison of bliss from light to greater light, bliss to greater bliss. And these are steps on the way from peace to greater peace, if you will.
Yeah.
And from jnana to greater jnana, to the immortal embodiment. And if we speak this language, it's all within the language. Yeah? But the idea has to be understood. Once we understand it, then language just helps. It should not take away our understanding.
Yeah.
We should feel what it means, yes, kind of experience it in a way. And somewhere inside ourselves, we know about it. It's amazing. How do we know about this? Somehow we know. We had this constantly, that movement forward. Yes, somebody else saying, Anna?
Does it even mean like it's written across births? So it's even a karmic, cycle that we're crossing because it's birth after birth, right? So like there is a cycle there.
Well,
So
yes.
I mean,
Yeah, reincarnations after one after the other, one after the other. It's even not cycles, like more like spiral or something. Yes,
cycle.
spiraling forward, yes, um, and without peace, without accumulation of spirit into the being, that peace which is creating for sharmans the stability of the realization on each level, this moving forward would not be possible. So every time we break through to some state and it generates peace, yeah, that kind of security context, and then we move forward again. We disturb that equilibrium. We constantly arrive at equilibrium and disturb it, arrive and disturb it. So this is kind of breathing in and out.
So it isn't going with the waves, right? Like sometimes there's a high tide and sometimes there'll be like low tide. So it's like a cycle. I mean,
You can say with tides compare, or you can say even in terms of reincarnations, you go into the incarnated state and then you come out into the state of the psychic peace and equilibrium and reconsideration. You make a new plan and then again engage in jhana. So you
yeah.
step out and step in, step out and step in. Even here. So you see so many ideas from one simple statement are generated, and all of them are meaningful.
Vladimir, I was just thinking, isn't our physical bodies, the way creation is made, um, it has oscillations going on. For instance, in our nostrils, there's an oscillation going on between the left and the right nostril to warm and to cool our bodies. In our blood system, there's constant interaction going on between red and white blood cells. I don't know all of the details of of how this works, but I believe that there's a constant interaction and oscillation back and forth in all physical creation to maintain balance.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking that's part of this overall idea.
Right. Absolutely.
Being talked about.
Yeah. I think physical world just embodied that kind of law of which is expressed here in this simple phrase, because without this alternation, yeah, between darkness and light, the becoming or the whole world would not be possible. All the shades of light would not be revealed, all the hues, yeah? All the shapes, forms would not come into being. So because of that, yeah, that there must be some alternations in time and space. That's time and space, yes. What it means is this, yeah, that one will change into the other. And cold will change into the hot and hot into the cold. And that's all, it's all comparatively, if we compare them, because hot and cold is is only on the measurement of our own kind of comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I compare that hot to the hotter one, then that will be cold. Yeah? So it's all very relative. That's what I want to say. But that relativism is generated by time and space or by the whole creation. And these are steps on the way towards the divinity, the way how nature works. And nature created this energy field, this resistance between plus and minus, this tension field, yeah? Between two opposites which are held together and generate a lot of force. And that force is the spirit, that Agni moving forward. Long ago, I was thinking about Agni as if you can imagine the magnet which has only one pole. Can you imagine a magnet with one pole? Those who know physics cannot imagine it. It's unimaginable because magnet has to have two poles, otherwise it's not magnet. But if you can imagine the magnet with one pole, which takes every other point in the world as the second pole, and that is Agni. So it is some kind of energy which is being generated between two polarities. And these two polarities are constantly the disturbing equilibrium and equilibrium, disturbing and coming again to equilibrium, and again and again and again, constantly breathing in and out. The world is being created and world is being destroyed at the same moment. Each moment the world is coming into being and is removed from the being by Asat, by Nirguna Brahman. So Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman coexist in this constant vibration of the supermind. You know, somewhere Mother describes how the world is perceived on the supramental plane in the agenda, and it is absolutely mind-boggling. She says, each moment the world is being created and destroyed. It is perceived like this. It is the state where this time and space are not yet fully functional. They are being generated. And on that level, where they're generated in this way, that the world is being created and destroyed because time and space is not yet spread enough, to see that it is not spelled out in time and space. So it's all packed and compressed within one spot, within one space. So there you have it, that the world is coming into being and next moment disappearing, coming into being and disappearing. It's like this pulsation, constant pulsation, which generates that energy necessary for time and space to activate the manifestation. I know this is beyond our mind capacity to understand, but it's good to know that there is such a description, because that mind we do not have. Mother just had an experience and gave it to us for us to know. And we can think of it as we like.
That's a fantastic thing to think about, because I'm thinking that Max Planck, who was the father of quantum mechanics, he was saying that there's no basis for the existence of physical reality. And this makes perfect sense with what the mother was saying, that creation can come into being because it's the idea in the supermind or in the divine mind that causes reality that we see to exist. But it's only because it exists in the divine mind that we experience it. Otherwise, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Without the divine, nothing can exist. That's absolutely. It's all the divine kind of. But how it generated this energy of time and space, and Sri Aurobindo somewhere says on that the subjective perception of or is time in the supermind, and objective perception, cognition is space in the supermind. So space is perceived as objective perception or cognition and time is a subjective cognition of consciousness. So you could see these two coming together and generating what we see objectively as a apprehensive consciousness and comprehensive. They go together. Comprehensive is related more to the factor of time, how everything is connected in the movement of time, in the unfolding of some oneness, yes, in time. And apprehensive is more as the forms generated objectively, perceived and seen in space. So you could see these two components of seeing and hearing. As Sri Aurobindo says, these two are major faculties of consciousness, which are generated on the level of the supermind in their action. You see, we went far away from that verse, but this is the verse about that these two, the manifestation of the being in time, jhana, and manifestation of the spiritual non-manifested presence, sharman, are two driving components of nature towards the divinity, towards the full embodiment of the divine. So good we spend some time with this verse, otherwise it will go unnoticed. And many such words and phrases are in the Veda, which we take for granted. We just read the words, and they mean something deeper. And the last verse, and we will stop here. Abhino agna uktam it juguria dyavakshama sindhavascha sva gurtach gavyam yavyam yanto dirghahe isham varam arunyo varanta. Varam arunyo varanta. Gaviyam, gavyam yavyam yanto dirghasha isham varam arunyo varanta. So I have to disconnect the sandhis. Mayst thou, O Agni, about our word, for thy pivot, bring to light for us heaven and earth. For thy pivot bring to us, to light for us heaven and earth, and the rivers, and that are self-revealed. May the red ones, usually the dawns, reach to knowledge and strength and long days of light. May they choose the force and the supreme good. Well, this is the whole set of the fundamental beings of the Veda, Sindhus, Dhyava Kshama or Dhyava Prithivi, and Sindhavach, the streams of consciousness. There are usually seven rivers, Svargurta, Svagurtaha, moved by themselves. They move by themselves. They are self-conscious. Gavyam Yavyam Yanto, may they come to Gavya and Yavya. Let me go word by word. first I will read my interpretation to help us out. Around our invocation, illumine heaven and earth, and the rivers self-revealed. So they ask Agni to illumine the heaven and earth, our upper and lower hemisphere, our mental and physical consciousness, as it were. May the red ones here, most probably the dawns, the actions of the Divine Mother, go to knowledge and power, and long days, and choose the best force of impulsion. Long days, interesting, dirghaha. Long days are those long periods of illumination. Well, we can figure out what it means. It means that our process of illumination will stay. We will have uninterrupted consciousness, yes, of over time. The Navagvarishis spoke about the 9-month concentration, yes, uninterrupted concentration over 9 months or the year. And once it is happening, then we can break through to the transcendental. If our concentration can stay long period, long days, then our achievement will be obvious. It will be possible for us. From here, all these tapasvins' effort. Tapasvins always try to make a longer concentration. They endure the hardships of concentration because they hold on to their concentrated effort. And that generates the tapas, the energy, which can bring them to the higher, to the new level of consciousness. Yeah? So the longer days means holding on to the light in spite of all the temptations to stop, to rest, to deviate, to become ordinary again, to fall back, to step down. Yeah, what we usually do. We are not capable of holding to light. We are constantly stepping down a bit. We are kind of dancing, 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. We are not moving forward very, very quickly. We can't. Our system is not capable of holding on to the long days. So that's what they are looking for. And may the red ones, the illuminations of the Divine Mother Aditi as Usha, the hues of the dawn, go to knowledge and power and long days. This is a very Vedic imagery. So around our invocation, around our word, Uktam, Abhino Agni Uktam id Jogurya, yeah, Jogurya, either accept or create the center, hold on to. Mayst thou, Agni, about our word for thy pivot, bring to light for us. So they create the center around which the heaven and earth will be illumined, when we will see the upper and lower hemisphere, our heaven open to the spirit and our earth open to manifestation. Again, this duality of jhana and sharman from the previous verse. Yeah? Here they are in the form of Dyavakshama. And all the Sindhus who move by themselves. May the red ones reach Yantach to knowledge and strength, Gavyam Yavyam. Now, Gavyam and Yavyam translated as knowledge and strength. It is from Gavya is from go, cows, yeah? And Yavya is from Yava, which is the wheat or the grains. Yeah, I didn't even put them here. That which feeds the strength, the food. So the light and the feeding food of the strength of the body. So Sri Aurobindo translates as knowledge and strength. Yavyam gavyam yanto dirghaha, end to the long days. Isham varam, and the best isham, impulsion, aranyach, arunyach in this case, sometimes aranyach. The luminous ones, varanta, should choose. They should choose the best impulsion, the impulsion which leads us on the right path. So this is the whole hymn. Do you have any thoughts of this holding to the pivot, about the word for thy pivot? So our word, our hymn becomes a center around which there could be illumined our higher and lower consciousness, yes? And all the rivers, streams of consciousness, 7 of them, revealed. They are self-revealed, but we can see them now, these streams of consciousness. And may the red ones, the hues of the Divine Mother actions, reach to knowledge and strength and long days of light. May they choose the force and the supreme good. It's interesting how Rishi speaks on their behalf. Yeah? May they choose. Instead of saying, please choose for us, yes, the good, he says, may they choose. They may choose something else also. They are totally free, to choose anything. But the Rishi is kind of trying to make them choose the best impulsion for us, or the force and supreme good. Varam, supreme good, Isham, force. We can combine them, in my translation, and combine them together, best force of impulsion. Because in other places, Sri Aurobindo translates Isham as the force of impulsion. Impulsion is something which generates conscious choice for us, where to move, what to do. Yeah? It is that impulsion. We are constantly moving by some impulsion. And there are many impulses in us of different kind. So, but this one has to be the best force of impulsion. Varam Isham. That which leads to the proper choice. Make the right choices, they say in America. To their kids, they say, make right choices. Let's just choose the right impulsion. We are free to move in every direction. We can go up, we can go down, we can go on periphery, we can go a long way through the jungle of life. We can try everything, lower and higher. And in the middle, the whole world is up to us. And these impulsions are determining our movement. Yeah?
I have a question. Who are they The red ones, are these the rivers?
The red ones are the hues of the Divine Mother, the dawn. Usually they are the red ones. There are 33 sisters, 33 hues of the dawn. Dawn is the manifestation of the Divine Mother on the physical plane. When she reaches out with her transcendental consciousness, it is depicted as the dawn. We never had our sessions on the dawn yet. There are more than 30 hymns to the dawn. There's the most beautiful poetry in the Veda. When the Divine Mother reaches out, leans down to us, descends with her luminous consciousness onto us.
In this text, it's the rivers that are self-revealed. They.
No, it is in the first line, self-revealed, Sindhavashchas, and Gavyam Yavyam Yanto Dirghaha Isham Varam Arunyo Varamta. Arunyach is at the end. Here they are, the luminous ones. Yeah? Arunyach also the rays of Aruna. Aruna, Arunachala, or the luminous. Aruna is also the sun, the rays of the sun, or the dawns. All right, so here we are. If you have something, some comments or some thoughts, please share. I'm already drunk with the luminous wine. Feels like being drunk, really. The head is spinning. What a gift India left for us, yes? Vedas. Yeah, I guess no thoughts. All thoughts stopped for a while. On hold. Great. Okay, and then I will close with mantra, and next time we will take a new hymn. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.